Tuesday, February 13th.
The fire department is grieving today.
He risked his life fighting fires. How a disease that's making headlines took the life of this local firefighter. An 18-year-old father is accused of killing his baby girl. Why this isn't the first time police have heard of him. Plus, how a shopper helped track down a missing girl and her wanted father. WCCO 4 News at 6 starts now. The flu claims the lives of 2 more people in Minnesota. Hello, I'm Amelia Santinello.
And I'm Frank Vassalero. The latest victims are a Minneapolis firefighter and a child. The firefighter is 44-year-old Barry DeLude, a 21-year veteran of the fire department. Bridget Bornstein is live in the newsroom with more on the people who knew him as a father and a friend. Bridget?
Barry DeLude leaves behind a wife and 2 children. For fun, he played hockey and was often out on the ice with his kids. Last week, DeLude missed a couple shifts because he wasn't feeling well. He had respiratory problems. Sunday, he checked into the hospital and died this morning. He worked at Station 17 in South Minneapolis. That's the same neighborhood where he grew up.
He's truly one of our brothers, and all of us are devastated today.
He was very personable, very well-liked by the firefighters, very professional. In fact, his performance reviews were always top-notch. The captain on his crew loved having him. He was a great driver, and like I said, he'll be missed.
The health department says it is unusual to see a 44-year-old die from complications of the flu. Frank?
Yeah, especially considering he got himself to the hospital, too. Do we know, Bridget, did DeLude get a flu shot this season?
No, he did not get a flu shot. Doctors are also checking to see if he had any other health problems.
And that made it complicated things?
That may have, if that's what they discover.
Okay. Bridget, thanks. As we mentioned at the top of the show, we also found out this afternoon that a 4th child in Minnesota has died from influenza. Health officials say the child is an 8-year-old from the Duluth area. They say the child did have a flu shot, but did have other health issues as well. 3 other children, including 2 from the Twin Cities, have died from the flu this season. Health officials say it is important to get your kids vaccinated and to make sure that everyone washes their hands frequently to keep germs from spreading.
A 15-month-old St. Paul girl is dead tonight. Her 18-year-old father is accused of killing her. Police say Beaufort Jackson is in jail right now. And as Heather Brown tells us, this is not the first time he's accused of hurting his daughter.
15-month-old Destiny Jackson had just moved into this apartment building with her mother last month. Last night, she was here with her parents when around 12:30 they called paramedics.
They arrived and found a 15-month-old little girl, and the description they used is that she was in obvious distress.
The little girl died at the hospital from blunt force trauma to her torso. Her father, 18-year-old Beaufort Jackson, was arrested for beating her. Police say this wasn't the first time they've investigated the man. Last November, Destiny's skull was fractured. Police say they couldn't press charges then because they couldn't determine it wasn't an accident.
Destiny was placed in foster care for several weeks after that. Police say she was legally with her mother last night.
And Heather tells us that Jackson is expected to be charged with homicide tomorrow. The death of a 2-year-old Fergus Falls girl may lead to a new law to protect children. Emily's Law is named after Emily Johnson. She died after being beaten by a 13-year-old boy at a daycare. The law calls for tougher sentences for juveniles who commit serious crimes.
A happy reunion tonight for a mother and her teenage daughter after the girl went missing for nearly 24 hours. Police say 14-year-old Deirdre Makuta of Inver Grove Heights was taken by her father, Stephen, a convicted sex offender. This is video of Stephen in police custody today. Shoppers at the Mall of America spotted the father and daughter at the transit station and called police. The FBI and authorities in several states were already looking for them. Agents thought they might be headed out of Minnesota. Police say this case is an example of a successful use of the Amber Alert. Deirdre's picture and a description of the father's van generated dozens of tip phone calls.
You don't like to do these investigations. You have a young child that was taken away from her mom. It's just very rewarding to all of us that we were able to locate her.
Police say Deirdre was not hurt. Her father remains in police custody and will face charges in the case.
Meatpacker Swift says it's recovering from immigration raids that put a big dent in its workforce. Swift processing plants in Minnesota, Iowa, and 4 other states were targeted by federal immigration officials back in December. Swift lost nearly 1,300 employees in the raids, about 10% of its workforce. The company says that it's been busy hiring, and its pork processing plants are now at normal levels. That should be good news for hog farmers who are having problems selling their animals. Swift says beef plants are at 70% capacity, but should rebound in May once new hires are done training. The company says it lost about $30 million after the raids. The Minneapolis Board of Education is meeting right now, and it's expected to make a decision about a new leader for the district.
The members are deciding whether to permanently hire the interim superintendent, Bill Green.
Yes. Being an interim is like being a guest in a home. Everybody says, you know, make yourself at home, but they don't mean for you to repaint the house and bring in new furniture and eat the last piece of chicken.
As Darcy Pollen tells us tonight, Green and the district are facing big challenges.
First and foremost,
the honeymoon period with interim Minneapolis school superintendent William Green is over. It seems now the district is ready for a long-term relationship.
I think he's been doing well. I think he has some of the street credentials.
We were inundated with letters and emails and phone calls from people throughout the city saying, don't do a search, hire Dr. Green.
Dr. Green and others know well the challenges which the district faces.
The money, the lack of money.
$60 million in cuts over the next 3 years.
We're losing kids all the time to open enrollment, and that's a shame. I've been very happy with the education that my children have received, but that needs to change if we're going to keep kids and not have the dollars chase them out of the school district.
And an achievement gap between white and minority students that's among the worst in the country.
I believe that we have a perception that we have to overcome. And the only way I think we can do that is show people that we're serious about getting results, that we're serious about being accountable, and that we're serious about reconnecting with our families and communities. And so
Chief Academic Officer Bernadina Johnson is a woman Dr. Green picked to help turn things around. She's already getting high marks for her plan.
Raising expectations, connecting with students.
But with gain often comes pain.
The message has been that everything is on the table, which includes class sizes, which includes closing sites.
And let me tell you that closing schools and possibly selling them and increasing class sizes do not sit well as possible solutions for parents that I spoke with today. Even so, one source told me today that he would be very surprised if the whole board did not unanimously approve Dr. Green for the new Minneapolis school superintendent. Amelia and Frank?
Well, Darcy, if that happens tonight, what kind of term, how long would he serve?
Well, that's not going to be determined here tonight. Generally, it's about 2 to 3 years, Frank, but that will be hashed out most likely in the next couple of weeks when the terms of his contract are settled on.
All right. Darcy Pollen, thank you.
The new Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis has just been named the best cultural space, according to Travel and Leisure magazine. One of the judges said, quote, the theater's color and shape bring excitement to the surrounding industrial neighborhood. The Guthrie is on the Mississippi River and just opened last summer. French architect Jean Nouvel designed it, and you can read more about the award in the March issue of Travel and Leisure.
Boy, that's prestigious.
Yeah, it is.
Congratulations.
The sun was out and wasn't too cold today, but things, I hate to say this, are about to take a plunge.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Chilly Valentine's Day, I guess, huh, Paul?
Thank you for being upbeat, though. I like that. Wasn't too bad, upper teens. Anywhere else in America, people would be screaming, curled up in the fetal position. Upper teens, thank you for staying positive. Check out what's happening Doppler. You can see that mega storm, and it's causing all kinds of havoc right now, from Chicago to Detroit to Buffalo and Cleveland. Tornado watches in effect to the south. We are just getting cold exhaust on the backside of that storm. Let's check what's happening with Tracker right now. These are wind chills. Feels like about 2 in the metro. Now, as we fast forward through time, yes, your cold, crunchy Valentine tomorrow morning, we're looking at bus stop wind chills, 15 to 20 below, possibly the coldest Valentine's Day in 44 years. But there is excellent news in the 7-day. You'll want to stick around for that, Frank.
Oh, what a good tease. Thank you, Paul. Up next, why we won't be getting a look at plans for a new Viking stadium anytime soon. Plus, what would keep you coming back to work for 75 years. You'll hear how this St. Paul woman stays motivated as she celebrates her diamond anniversary.
First, though, here is a look at tonight's lineup on WCCO. NCIS kicks things off, followed by the unit and Without a Trace. And then on the news at 10.
Everyone loves a bargain. Sometimes online prices for the same products in the store are lower, even with shipping, even from the same company.
Almost every store has a website, but where do you get the better price? We found some surprising deals, and we'll share a tip that could save you money no matter where you shop. Tonight at 10 on WCCO 4 News.
Real-time closed captioning is brought to you by...
Don't expect to hear any details about new plans for a new Viking stadium anytime soon. The head of the Metropolitan Sports Facilities Commission says planners first have to come up with a way to pay for it. The replacement for the Metrodome could reach more than $900 million. The Vikings want to pay 1/3 of the cost, with the state and local taxes each picking up the other 2/3. Governor Tim Pawlenty has said there isn't enough support for a 7-county metro sales tax to pay for a new stadium. Well, should Made in the USA be mandatory for the American flag? The Minnesota House is looking at a bill that would actually require American flags to be made in America. It would also apply to novelty items showing the image of the flag. Well, imagine working at the same place for more than 75 years.
A former nurse and volunteer at Bethesda Rehabilitation Hospital is celebrating her diamond anniversary.
I started out as a student nurse on February 1st, 1932, and graduated in 35. This is my student nurse uniform.
95-year-old Eleanor Yankee has spent most of her life working right here at Bethesda Hospital.
You delivered my mother 75 years ago?
She retired as a nurse back in 1977, but continued to volunteer at the hospital.
Well, I always say I do stuff.
The St. Paul native says it's the people who work here that keeps her coming back.
And when people are good to you, you try to be good to them. And you have been such a special
But her co-workers would probably say it's the other way around.
Eleanor's loyalty is just beyond belief, and the amount of work and dedication that she has given to Bethesda Hospital in her 75 years is just remarkable.
She brings a lot to our department. She comes in and takes over. She wants to have she wants her job, and she wants it waiting for her. And
I hope I can keep on. History starts over here. I'm not planning on retiring from volunteering. One of our patients.
And Eleanor says that she keeps going because she would get bored at home.
Good for her. That's awesome.
Yes, it is. 95 and working hard. And oh, hi. Are you
Hi there. You know, Mrs. Yankee was never late. 75 years on the job, not one day tardy. And look at you.
I could learn a lot.
You could.
Are you afraid? Are you afraid because it's going to be the coldest Valentine's Day in, what, 44 years?
44 years since 1963.
Wow.
It hasn't been that cold on Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Really?
So, not exactly a record, but close to record territory. I'll make up for it right now.
No, we're that fact. You're welcome. We're welcome. We're glad to have you.
I'm happy to be here. You know, just wanted to get up to the second information to you, the viewer at home, and here we are. Let's check Storm Alert and show you all the mayhem just to the south and east. You can see all kinds of watches and warnings on Storm Alert right now. Blizzard warnings in effect for Illinois and Indiana and Ohio, all those red counties under blizzard warnings. Chicago shut down, paralyzed by this storm. Detroit, Indianapolis, Toledo, Cleveland. And there's severe weather to the south. A whole slew of severe thunderstorm watches and even some warnings in effect. The shield of snow, which just skirted far southern Minnesota, just brushed the southernmost counties down around the Iowa border. But once again, we were left high and dry here in the Twin Cities. We've had a foot of snow all winter long. Some sections of northern Indiana, northern Illinois will get a foot of snow this evening. Literally in the next 4 to 5 hours. It's snowing that hard, 2 to 3 inches an hour. And again, some of these storms capable of tornadoes, perhaps similar to the one that went through New Orleans earlier this morning. That was a big one. That one might have been an F2 or an F3, just based on the damage video that I saw. All right. Let's check the computer. 15 degrees. It did mellow into the upper teens today. And with that sun out and the winds not too strong, it didn't feel too bad out there. Temperatures at this hour, generally single digits, just north and west of the metro. Already -2 up in Detroit Lakes, -7 in Fargo. There's the storm, snow, ice, rain. The storm system is going to intensify as it reaches the east coast. And indications are our snow drought is going to continue. It just doesn't snow here anymore. As opposed to Syracuse expecting 2 feet of additional snow. Cleveland, another 15. A foot in Boston. Even New York may get 5 inches of snow